The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
Hey, this is Sione Kelepi, and you're on The Stage Door Show with Dave Hondel.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Stage Door Show tonight. This is Dave Hondel. I am so happy to have my guest with me tonight, Sione Kelepi. Welcome, Sione. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you. I feel so honored.
Well, I feel honored as well, and we're so happy that you joined us tonight. And a lot of people know you from the Meghan Trainor All About That Bass video, which, again, 2.4 billion views. And I said billion. Crazy amount of views. And so talk about that experience, because I know you started out doing Vine videos, but how did that kind of lead into the Meghan Trainor video, or how did that process go?
Yeah, actually Vine really did help me out with getting myself out there, because before I even got the Meghan Trainor video, I had just gotten fired from the job that I used to work at. I mean, because of Vine, I had other opportunities come my way, audition for America's Got Talent, but I don't think I was ready for that, and I still don't. But I was just denying a lot of other opportunities. And then I got hit up on Instagram if I wanted to be part of a project on just a project. I wasn't told it was all about that bass or what it was for. I was just told oh, do you want to work on a project? And it was by one of a choreographer. Her name's Charm LaDonna, and she's pretty amazing. So I got hit up on Instagram, and then it was all because of Vine, because I was posting videos on Vine. And then yeah, that's pretty much how it started. They contacted me through Instagram and asked if I wanted to be a part of a project. And it was my first professional thing that I've ever done. So I was a little sketched out, I can't lie. I was I don't know if I want to do it, but I had nothing better to do. So yeah, I went for it. That's pretty much what started it all.
Well, I mean, when you, okay, so I understand, because I know Meghan Trainor at that time wasn't really a household name, and so I can understand your hesitancy. But once you kind of did the project and it kind of took off, I mean, did you kind of sit back and say, "Wow, that was incredible," or did you kind of at that point it was validated, or how was that?
It made me I mean, I still was just after everything came out, I was extremely proud. I was just proud of myself, whether just getting out there and doing something that I've always wanted to do, which is dance professionally for something. So I was definitely extremely proud of myself. I didn't even I wasn't even worried about it having a lot of views. I was just more excited that I did it.
Well, when you danced in that video too, I mean, I'm guessing it was done in a studio, and were you actually with Meghan during the shoot?
Yeah, so when I first saw her, I didn't they had sent me the song before I actually accepted it. And when I heard the song, I didn't expect it to be a white girl, but white blonde. I thought it was a black girl. Not that race has anything to do with anything, but
yeah, no, I understand.
She just wasn't what I was expecting. And then so I walked into the room, and I believe she's getting her hair done, and she goes, "Oh, hey, you're that dancer." And I was like, "Yeah," or I felt like I was kind of rude, and I was just ugh. But she's actually really sweet. So, but I didn't realize that it was her saying "Oh, hey, you're that dancer," when I first met her. But then I realized it was her, and she was actually really nice, and her mom's actually really sweet too. So
did you have a signature move that they wanted you to do, or did they choreograph the actual moves for you?
So they wanted me to just do whatever kind of dance style that I did, but they wanted one of my moves from Vine that that got pretty popular was it's called the maraschino step. And it started getting it started picking up on TikTok too, a few months ago. But it's basically I'm just in a parking lot and I just spin around. It's a lot more interesting than just explaining it. But
yeah.
but they wanted that move specifically, and then everything else was just they wanted that move and me doing a split. But I didn't think that I could do a split in those shorts. I thought they were gonna rip, but they didn't. So yeah.
Well, that was
Luckily.
one of the signature moves of the video too. So that was pretty awesome. And then you got to perform with her on stage in one of her concerts. Talk about that experience. How cool was that?
Okay, so that was okay. She was coming to perform in Florida, and her mom messaged me, and her mom's like, I swear, her mom's like the sweetest person ever. And her mom said, hey, we're coming to Florida. Do you want to like come to one of her concerts? I'm like, heck yeah. Like, I didn't want to say no. So they invited me to the concert, and I brought some friends over. And like, while we were at the meet and greet, she was like, oh my gosh, can you perform with me on stage? I was like, what?
You weren't ready?
Well, here's the thing. I kind of had a feeling she would ask.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to be like pushing, like I wasn't going to like, oh my gosh, can I So she like asked me if I could perform with her on stage. And I was like, yeah, of course, sure. But like, sitting in the crowd and just looking at everybody, I started getting really nervous. And so it's kind of getting like to All About That Bass song. And then I'm like backstage and I'm like trying to like walk up the stairs, but I was getting so nervous that my legs just like locked up, or they just didn't want to move.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like her dad like he came from behind, he goes, get it, and he like smacked me on my ass, and I was like, oh. And then so it pretty much just pushed me forward.
Yeah.
Right after that, I heard I heard the part that I was supposed to come in, and everything just it didn't feel real, but it felt like something that I've always wanted to do.
Sure.
And it was really fun.
Can understand how it would be. Do you get noticed out there, Sione? I mean, out in public when you're out there, because I know you're actually from the town where we lived for many years, and my daughter, which we didn't mention yet. But when you're out there in the Central Florida area, I mean, do you ever get noticed and people say, "Hey, you're in that video"?
Well, I'm a homebody, so I barely like leave my house. But
yeah,
like when I do go to, it's not a lot. It's not like I don't get recognized a lot. But when I go to Publix, there's this guy who like knows who I was in, and he always brings it up like every time, and I feel kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Only because I don't know. I don't like too much attention, but it sounds like contradictory because like I'm trying to build myself for a social media platform. But like, I just get really shy, like in person.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that because on our show we celebrate independent artists, and we talk about the process of doing their art and kind of building their career to that point where maybe they're more well known. Obviously, that's the whole point, right? But at the same time, some people don't have the I guess the comfort level of having the fame, I guess, and what comes along with it. So, but behind a computer or behind a, behind a phone, it's a little bit different when you're out in public, right? So, and
exactly.
I guess I would be the same way. I mean, I'm actually, even though I do this show, I'm actually a very shy person by nature. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. But, you being in this, and we'll talk about something else that you were in a little bit, but, I can understand that. But I mean, if you were to get that, like be noticed everywhere you went, I mean, would that make you uncomfortable, or would it something you can get used to?
I mean, I guess I'll feel uncomfortable, but it depends on like how much I like, go out because I'm not like a clubber and
Right.
or I only go shopping or
Yeah. The
to the
necessities.
gym. Just kidding.
Yeah. The other thing that we talked about a little bit, mentioned you were in something else, but Central Intelligence, the film with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it was, obviously what an opportunity that was to be in that. And I know there was a process of doing some kind of melding, I guess, of your face and his to kind of make it look like it was him as a younger person, right? So talk about that process. How did you get that role? And then, how was the process of actually filming that?
Okay, so this was all through email, like, because I live in Florida and, auditions are in LA or in New York or wherever they're scouting. And so I live in Florida and they emailed me asking, they gave me the details. They said, hi, we have a part for you that we feel like you could fit our role. And it's with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. And so they just pretty much told me that off the bat. I didn't, I'm not an actor. I don't audition for a lot of things. So I didn't have a lot of like expectations that I was going to get the role.
Okay.
But they told me, like, we want you to audition. And they said, okay, you need to audition in your bathroom, like, not naked, but like, they wanted me to like, I wore like shorts and I just rolled it up to like where.
Sure.
And then I had my sister recording me and I was like, okay, just do it here. And I was just recording myself lip singing a song called Never Gonna Get It by En Vogue.
Okay, and nice, a great song. That's
yeah,
from my era, Sione. That's from my era.
Oh, it is?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, my sister, she recorded me, and then like at the end of the audition, they just wanted me to like give out like look at the camera and like scream at it.
Sure.
And so I did that, and then they also asked me for my cousin's information. Okay. Hold on, sorry, I missed a part.
Okay.
The way they found me was because me and my cousins, we were doing a dance at a wedding.
Okay.
And we're all like, they're all my size. It's like everybody, but like.
Sure.
So they saw the one of my cousins on the side of me, and they're like, "Oh, this is a little awkward. Do you mind if we like get his information too?" Because they wanted him to audition too.
Sure.
And I mean, I was like, heck yeah, sure. Like, what's up?
Right.
And then I like got my cousin's information, sent it to them. I believe he auditioned, but I didn't like ask him further on it. But that's what happened with the audition. They wanted him to audition as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then a few days later, probably a week later, she like called me. I forgot her name. She called me and she said, "Oh, are you sitting down?" And I was like, "No." Or no, actually, I forgot what I said, but it wasn't just like, no. Are you sitting down? Yeah. She's like, "Well, we wanted to offer you this part." And I was like, "What? I got the part?" Like, I really didn't think I was going to get the part.
Wow.
Because I heard that a lot of people were auditioning in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in person gets you more of a chance. So
but
when
sometimes though, Sione, sometimes not to interrupt, but sometimes when you audition in person, you have more of a, I guess there's more nerves because you're waiting in line with other people and you're in front of other people. So basically you're in your own bathroom. So that might kind of lead to more of a natural kind of look. So that's just, that's just from me auditioning people for many years, but that could be why, you had more of a natural kind of a vibe because you're in your own home, right? Possibly.
Right. Just in front of my sister.
Yeah.
True. Like, yeah, I was definitely way more comfortable. So I could see how that plays in. But I was actually really excited that I got the part. And then after that, they sent me to LA because So the first thing that we did before anything,
Yeah.
I got all my paperwork,
Yep.
but that same day we wanted to start the face scanning to
Okay.
get him, and they had us in a big dome.
Okay.
I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
They had us in like a big dome with full of lights, and then sitting there, and then we just had to look at this camera, and then we had to go, like we just
Oh,
had to do
different
bunch
facial
of
moves. Yeah.
facial expressions, and then we had to lip sync Never Gonna Get It.
Okay.
That way we could just like match it up. But
Sure.
it was actually really cool. They wanted us we had to like, we couldn't blink because they had like took pictures from each of those lights.
Right. Right.
And it was actually, that was the day that I met The Rock.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was so when they brought me into the room, because he was doing his scans before me, he like said my name. He's like, "Oh, are we gonna have Sione over here?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like
You
it's
said
just
your
like
name.
somebody that, right? Yeah, somebody that I've looked up to for years, and he
Yeah.
like said my name. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Wow.
He walks out of the little biodome thing,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I swear I couldn't say anything, and I felt like I had like a speech prepared, but
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I love you. You're awesome. I
Right.
looked up to you." Everything. I just couldn't talk. I was
Right.
like, "Wow, this guy, so
Speechless.
awesome."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so humble. He like pulled me into this conference room and just was telling me about everything. I was like, "Oh, this guy's so like he's so cool."
Very down to earth, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we just finished the scans that day, and we also, well, that was just the first scans for our face.
Yeah.
We had a way bigger dome to scan our bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to wear like dots
So-
or something like that? Did they put anything on you to kind of like help the CG people with that?
So for the dots, they only did that while we were actually filming the scenes for the movie.
The actual scene
So-
itself. Okay.
Yeah, they put dots all across my face. They didn't need it for my body because they weren't CGIing anything from
Right.
for my body, but definitely for my face, they needed the dots.
Sure. So now, after you saw the movie, did you kind of freak out a little bit and say, "Oh my gosh, that the way, I mean, the process, the way it worked, and that you got to do this, and then you see it on screen? How was that feeling for you to see that?"
Okay, so I cried. I mean, I was just really proud of myself and really happy. And
Absolutely.
actually, I left there for All About That Bass. I actually cried after I filmed everything as well, like while I was at the airport.
Yep.
I cried. So for when I saw it on screen, I saw it with my dad and my sister. It was a little awkward, I can't lie, because like I'm like naked and
Right.
it's just weird seeing it with my dad and my sister.
Sure.
But we all were just like in the like row crying.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, I guess we were all just like really happy for that
What a
moment.
great
And-
experience. I mean, so proud of you. And Sione, I mean, talking about crying, when I had my first music video was played on national TV, I cried like a baby. I really did. So I completely
Oh my
understand.
gosh, that's awesome.
Completely understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from. So yeah, I mean, people that see, when you have, because you work so hard, you work so hard at what you're
Mhm.
doing, and it's such a, I think people that aren't in the creative field, that sometimes don't
Mhm.
understand what goes into being creative,
Yeah.
whether it's dance, singing, anything. And when you see that the fruits of your labor on a big screen or even on a TV
Right.
screen, I mean,
Right.
you can't really explain that situation to anybody, and you almost have to experience it yourself, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a really good.
You have the maraschino step. All right. So, I mean, I saw you do a little Cabbage Patch too. One of the Cabbage Patch on the
Right, yeah.
video.
Mhm.
So is that your signature step? Is the
Yes.
maraschino? I mean, that's what you're known by. First of all, with the name maraschino, how did you come up with that name?
Okay, so this is for my name. It all started like when I was trying to make up an Instagram handle. Like I was looking for Sione, like something Sione whatever. Like my name was actually Sione whatever for a moment.
Sure.
And then I was watching Grease Lightning, and there's a girl on there, and she introduced herself as Marty Maraschino. I'm like, oh well, I kind of want to like that's different.
That's a cool name.
So then
right?
I put then I put Sione Maraschino as my handle, and then I just called it the Maraschino Step, and then everybody thought it was like related to the cherry, but it's
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Well, I think it's a really cool name, and I wanted to, first of all, talk about, I mentioned to everybody before that, you know my daughter, and you did some dance stuff with her, and you guys just recently did a TikTok dance video, a couple of them actually. So, talk about that a little bit, because I know you have all this social media. So let's tell everybody where they can find you and some of the stuff that you've been doing on some of the dance stuff.
Okay, so I love your daughter. I think she's an amazing dancer.
Thank you.
Me and her, we met in high school. Actually, we competed in a middle school talent show together. Well, not together. We were competing against each other.
Sure.
And that was the first time I've ever saw her, and that was like the first time I've ever seen somebody do like a contemporary dance.
Okay.
Like, wow, this girl is really flexible. So then, fast forward, we both had musical theater together, and she was like teaching everybody all these like jump splits, and I feel like those are like lessons that I've taken with me like anytime I try doing a dance. So
Oh wow.
she
cool.
really do be teaching life lessons.
Nice. Okay, good.
And then
So all those dance fees that I paid, that her mom and I paid, were definitely worth it.
right, you're also paying for me as well.
Okay.
So actually a few months ago, I see her on TikTok, or she posted a video on Facebook from her TikTok. And then I was like, oh, let me go look her up. So then I followed her from there. I actually wanted to ask her if she wanted to like do a dance collab then, but I didn't. And it wasn't until like maybe like 4 weeks, a month ago or something. I was like, hey, do you want to do like a dance collab? And she said yes. And she's really nice, because I actually don't work with a lot of professional dancers. So when she was in there, so when we were like making up the dance, she was like picking up way quicker than the people that I'm used to like
Sure.
dancing with. So I was like extremely excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. Well, so talk about some of your social media. I mean, obviously you're very well out there, and you're followed by many, many people, but for some of our listeners who haven't been to your social media, where can they find you? And, and I guess, there's Instagram, TikTok, and all the others, but let's talk about your handle and how they can search for you.
So on Instagram, it's Sione Maraschino. Actually, if I can go back in time, I wish that I could change that name. Like Maraschino, I just feel like it's not, it was just like, oh, it's so cool, a cool name, but not thinking about it, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
Because I've had it for so long, like it wouldn't make sense to change it right now.
Right.
But on TikTok, you guys can follow me at Fatty McBatty, which is actually, when I was trying to make up a name, I texted like my group of friends, and I was like, guys, I want something, but like that has fat in it, something fat, because everybody like growing up, people were mean.
Yeah.
They would just like call me fat, like in a negative way. But I kind of just wanted to take the name and just be like, okay, well, I know I'm fat. So like what's the next, So my friends actually came up with Fatty McBatty, and that's where you can find me on everything else, like on TikTok, on YouTube. But I don't really post a lot on YouTube. So on TikTok and pretty much just TikTok, it's Fatty McBatty.
Well, the other thing, going back to the Meghan Trainor video, I think one of the things that I think was so popular about that video, and one of the things that I really liked about the video, is the fact that, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter, your size or your talent. You can do anything you want. You can dance, you could sing, you could whatever. And I think it was an empowering video, really it was. And I think that that's what I took away from it, is the fact that, just go out and do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I can't dance, but when I'm at a wedding, I'll dance like nobody's watching, and I'm horrible. But I just do it. I don't care what other people think. And I think that that's the message. And I think that's why it has 2.4 billion views. And you were a part, you're an amazing dancer, but being on that video, it kind of, you're a part of something that was really big and I think empowering for a lot of people. And you never know whose life it changed. I mean, you really do. I mean, we think about the entertainment value of it because it's part of the business, and you do the video and you go on to the next thing. But a lot of people out there, you listen to music, they watch videos, and they really take, they take the words, they take the content or whatever, and it really speaks to them. And I think it can really change somebody's life and really speak to them in a positive way. So did you ever think about that when you did that video or when it came out, that it would be that empowering to people?
I didn't. So when I first, I was doing that video pretty much for a check, so I did the video. I didn't really understand the meaning of everything. I was just excited. I was in front of a camera and being flown out to LA. That's what I was thinking, like, in that time. It wasn't until like later years, after the video was released, when people would start reaching out to me and like telling me, they struggle with their weight, and they've been bullied and had a lot of they had issues, and they would tell me that when they would hear that song, or they see someone my size like dancing and not caring about what people think, and like not caring, quotation, but deep down I did care, but it's just projecting like the image that I am confident. And that's what really like it helps people, seeing people like bigger, big people. I'm trying to go out there and just be like, make it in an industry where image is everything.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't until later when people started telling me their stories that I realized how much of an impact that song has had. And like, it's actually, it's a good feeling when people reach out to me. So
yeah,
I really do appreciate it.
The other thing too, Sione, is that video I think is really groundbreaking and pioneering for something like that, because ever since that video came out, you're seeing more videos with either plus size dancers, plus size actors, whatever, that I think it's, and in fact you see more models now. You see where it's not the super skinny thin people that are in these videos anymore, because it's not the average person. The average person
right
is plus size. I mean, it's just the way it is. And especially like now, as I get older and people get older, metabolism and everything else. I mean, so it's just, it's just that stigma is just kind of, slowly going away, which is a good thing. But I think, like I said, that video and others since then have really kind of pioneered, that whole idea that it's okay to be who you are, and we shouldn't hold back. And, that whole thing. So you were part of something super big. That's why I was so excited to have you on tonight, Sione. And so I can't thank you enough, Sione, for being on my show and for talking about your experience, not only on the video, but also the Central Intelligence movie. And I just think you're super talented, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. And keep building your base and your social media base, and whatever we can do on our show to help build that, we'll definitely, do what we can. So just, let me know any way we can help you. Again, thank you for being on my show tonight.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.